So we did the mausoleum at Halicarnassus. Rebecca, me, Mia, Kaden, and Madeline.
Okay, review of the mausoleum. The mausoleum was built in 353 BC, and the tomb was built for Mausoleus, the satrap, which is basically a Persian governor. The wife hired the most talented architects to build the mausoleum. The mausoleum was mostly built out of marble, and the stairs were made out of stone. Shows that the civilization was wealthy, had hard workers, and a strong leader.
Some challenges we faced was centering each pillar, each layer on top of each other. We resolved this with the center tool. Creating the horse was a big challenge because it required many separate pieces put together to make it look realistic. Evening out the columns and centering them was difficult because I had to figure out how many could fit on each side and make it even. Finding the real mausoleum's measurements was a challenge because it doesn't exist anymore, so we kind of had to estimate and guess with pictures to make it look accurate. Working in a group, we had some work plane issues because since it is so many different layers put on top of each other, you could have one person working on the top and one person working on the bottom, and you can only have one work plane, so you would have to just take turns. Accidentally deleting each other's work didn't happen often, but whenever it did, we would just communicate and tell the other person to hit the back thing to make it come back. Caden's absence because of his concussion, it was difficult while he was gone, but once he got back, he quickly jumped into what we were doing and knew what was going on.
So basically the process was that we took a whole bunch of small little squares and made them into long rectangles and made them really flat. Then we just stacked them onto each other and grouped the stairs together, and there was a big base at the bottom of the mausoleum of the pictures that we went off of. So you can see that we went off this picture, and so we just did, and then Kaden helped out with doing the huge boxes, and then we went off this picture like I said, so we did it purple, and then up here we did the gold kind of color, and then Madeline went on a separate work plane. So she did on her to do the pillars, and then she brought them over to ours and then copy and paste them so they'd be nice. They'd be all the same because again, like earlier, they'd be all different. We'd delete each other's stuff. So then we try to recreate the horse on the top, which Madeline did on a separate one, which is basically a whole bunch of squares and things like that. But the horse didn't look quite right on the top, so we just put it on the side.
Inspiration. There's no knowledge of what the mausoleum actually looked like, so we found 2 or 3 pictures, and these were our inspiration. And this is kind of how it was in the works and how we wanted the colors to come out. So
this is the result of our project, and I think we did a good job. And here's some pictures of the process of recreating the Mausoleum of Halicarnassus.
So how did the work get divided? Did you delegate? Did you volunteer?
So basically we just kind of all volunteered because we all wanted to do separate things, so we really didn't have an issue because I really wanted to do the stairs and Kaden wanted to do the bottom half, and then Rebecca didn't mind doing what she didn't care. So just different things like that, we just volunteered, and it happened to be that nobody wanted to do the same thing.
Well, me and Rebecca both kind of wanted to do the horse, so we just both made our own individual ones, and whichever one looked the best, we just
Who's won?
Madeline. Rebecca decided to come
I
out
was
with
gonna ask about the horse.
sun dinosaur horse. So we decided to go
Yeah, it's like a Salvador Dali horse. I like it.
it was kind of just a circle and four lines at the bottom.
Well, now y'all can talk to the Colossus of Rhodes. Human shapes, bendy shapes, those are hard. Or y'all too with the statue of Zeus. That's those real triangles are easy. People are hard.
This is how the horse this is how her horse came out. So it came out pretty nicely.
It was supposed to be a small statue on top, but because it was so small, like you said, you couldn't print it that small and had to double it, so.
Yeah, that's my fault.
Okay. What does this tell you about the people who originally constructed it? You told me you had strong government, good workforce. Anything else you want to add to that?
that his wife really loved him.
Yeah, they had to
Enough to
really
create
love him to
that.
build that, so.
Okay, you think love, that, so these were not necessarily marriages of convenience or alliances?
No.
Okay. Okay, and what did this function, did this structure serve?
As a tomb.
Was it used for anything else?
Not that we know of.
Okay. And so we got the strong government workforce. Okay. What did you like, not like about using a visual design program?
Well, I didn't like, personally for me, I didn't like, just like everyone else said, how it took you off so many times, and how you had to have your own work plan if you were doing something separate, but she wasn't on ours, so if you wanted to see how it looked, you had to like go look on her computer, move around a lot to just see how everything was going.
And one thing to just kind of jump ahead on the checklist here too is, because you had to do that, because you had so many layers of rectangles, et cetera, how can, like a firm grasp of mathematics and ratios, how can that help you in that situation? If we're designing in different spaces,
We wanted it to like just kind of look kind of like, we didn't want to, like one box being like too big than like the other one. So it was really important to focus on like, this has to be this size and this has to be this size. So that's how important it was in our project. But using the, there's like a ruler tool I think you can
Yes.
use. And we just type in the measurement that we wanted and made it pretty even, so.
yeah, and as long as the math is universal, right?
Yeah.
You lose together, the pieces fit. That's good.
Okay, so what would you do differently in the second 9 weeks when you face the new part of the project?
I would learn how to use the tools because there are a lot of tools available, and
Okay,
I
good
just
point.
didn't really know how to imply them into the making it. So, like, for example, centering the, well,
Yes.
evening out the columns, I counted each block because I didn't know how to like figure out
The
just how
alignment
to
tool is
measure
what
it.
you're talking about. That's my favorite too.
You do realize that you guys can play with this program all the time and learn to use each aspect. You put letters and stuff on the front of it. How hard was that?
It was, I had to watch a few YouTube tutorials.
That's the way to
That's what
go.
it's there for, y'all.
Okay. So if you could get your hands on any additional tools or resources, what would you, to help with this project, what would you like? Or did you need any?
Probably like grass or something to add to the base because
So just modeling
yeah.
supplies?
Something to give it a little bit more kind of detail, I guess.
Get fake grass, not
Yeah, not
Fake
real
grass,
grass.
yeah.
Or real dirt.
See, y'all say that, you don't like the field trip outside.
Well, we went outside.
Okay. So, anything else you'd like to add to it? No? Very good.